So being you is very much exactly what it says on the cover. It's about being you. It's about being yourself, finding out who you are, loving who you are, and being authentic. And being you doesn't only cover business, it covers all areas of life. But tonight I just wanted to extract the business principles from that book and just share a little bit of that with you. So why is it important to know yourself? Why is it important to be you in business? Does it really matter? The most important thing to realize is that people buy from people in business. If they like you, they're more likely to buy from you. If they don't like you, they're less likely to buy from you. So people buy from people, and that's us. We are our business, and for many of us, that's who we are. We are our business. And so, if you're not authentic, if you're not being yourself in business, if you're wearing a mask, people will pick something up. They won't know what it is, but they will pick something up. They will sense that something's not quite right, and they will withdraw. They will not trust you as much because they pick up that something's not quite right, and they don't know what it is. They can't put their finger on it. And so you lose their trust. You lose that rapport with them in many ways. And all it is because you're not being authentic. You're not comfortable being yourself in business. People that are comfortable with themselves in business are attractive. They're like people magnets. You always find authentic people are surrounded by people. And there's a flip side to that as well. We do kind of put people off if we're not ourselves. So it's really important to understand who we are and to do business secure in who we are. One of the things that we need to work on in business constantly is our people skills because of that fact that people buy from people. And one of the things that I'm still learning to do is to help people to feel good about themselves. I think that's a fantastic business skill to have, is to help people feel good about themselves. All of us here would much rather be around people that make us feel good than those that make us feel bad, for example. And so that's a great skill to have. But what happens if you don't feel good about yourself? If you're not feeling good about yourself, how are you going to go and help other people feel good about themselves? Unfortunately, what happens is when we don't feel good about ourselves in business or in life, we tend to step on people. We tend to step on them to get ahead because we don't feel comfortable and we don't have the confidence to lift them up. We don't have the confidence to help them feel good about themselves because we don't feel good about ourselves. Gossip is one of the things that happens to people that don't feel good about themselves. They feel much safer exposing somebody else's weaknesses or failures or bad traits rather than having the light on themselves. And so gossip is one of the horrible things that people do because they're not comfortable with themselves. Being arrogant, again, arrogance very often is rooted in insecurity. People puff themselves up, they become arrogant because deep down inside they're not confident in who they are, they're not comfortable with who they are, so they hide it and they puff themselves up. Another example is people pleasing. Some people need everyone to like them. Their identity is based on people's opinion of themselves, on people liking them. So they exhaust themselves trying to please everyone all of the time, to be liked. And when someone doesn't like them, it's absolutely devastating. And that's another sign of somebody who's not at peace with themselves. They're not comfortable with who they are, and they do business that way. And unfortunately, if you're insecure or arrogant or a people pleaser or a gossip or all of those things, you will exhaust yourself. You will do business on that place of trying to please everyone or trying to expose everyone else so that you look good, and it could lead to burnout. And one of the things that we look at in Being You is small business burnout. We look at the symptoms, we look at prevention, and we look at cure. Small business burnout is it's very common for a variety of reasons, but I just wanted to look this evening at how tired we can get from running around in business trying to be who we think we should be, trying to conform, trying to fit into a box, trying to please everyone. I'm getting tired just saying it, let alone doing that. And I speak from experience. I've been there. My first company, I was very green in business, very immature, very unsure of myself in business, but as a person I was very unsure of myself. And I really did exhaust myself trying to be who I thought I should be. more recently, when I've started the company I'm in now, which is Women's Business Club, I'm me, and I've got to that place where I like who I am. I actually like myself. And I do business from that place of this is who I am, this is how I do business. Now, I do get criticized a lot. There are also people that like me. And I'm okay with all of that. I'm okay with the fact that not everyone's going to like me, but this is how I'm doing business. From that place of being who I am and being comfortable with who I am. And I'm not exhausted anymore. I'm exhausted for other reasons, maybe doing too much sometimes, but I'm not exhausted from trying to fit in, from trying to please everyone, from trying to do what I think needs to be done to be good enough in the business world. So the heart of being you is discovering and uncovering the real you, the authentic you. Try and show this. Now, I know we all have different hats, and I'm not saying we don't have hats. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an author, I'm a businesswoman. I do so many things. I have many hats. But the key for me is that I don't lose my identity when I'm wearing my hats. That I don't change who I am to suit the different roles. There's nothing wrong with hats. We all have to do that. But we need to be the same person, no matter what our role is. When we step out of the house, we should be the same person. When we step into our office, we should be the same person. When we step back into our house, it's just a wonderful way to do life. And so the important question is, who are you? That's an easy thing to say, but do you really know who you are? Are you comfortable with who you are? Do you actually like yourself? Because you cannot help anybody else feel good about themselves if you don't feel good about yourself. So I would say an essential key, an essential ingredient to successful business actually starts within. It starts with liking yourself, liking who you are. We can achieve a measure of success without answering that question. But I don't believe that we'll ever reach our full potential if we don't address that very important question. The question is not what you do. How many of us find our identity from what we do? The question is not necessarily what you like. The question is, who are you? What makes you you? I want to share with you 3 or 4 truths. I'll see how much time I have. But some basic truths that is for all of us about our identity. And the first very important truth is that you are unique. Every one of us is unique. Nobody is identical to anybody else on this planet. And that's what makes us, that's our selling point. That's what makes our business unique. And we need to remember that. We are unique. And it's from that place of being who we are that everything else should flow. And our business should be a reflection of us as well. I mean, just think of Virgin. What do you instantly think of? You know,
Richard Branson.
His character, who he is. He's done a fantastic job of just sticking to who he is. I think our greatest asset in business is that confidence in who we are. And if we throw that away, I think we lose a lot. Another truth is you have specific gifts and talents. You have strengths and weaknesses. There are things inside of you that you've had since you were born. You're probably familiar with them. You probably don't even see it as anything special. Usually, your natural gifts and talents are just ordinary to you. You don't realize that you have something special. But imagine if you could do business using all your natural gifts and talents, all your strengths, and outsourcing the rest to somebody else who has those natural. Can you imagine how amazing our businesses would be if we didn't try to be jack of all trades and master of none? But actually, we knew our strengths, we knew our natural gifts and talents, and we did business from that place of strength. We played to our strengths, and then we found the things that were not natural to us, not comfortable to us. Those things that are not natural to us will drain us, or we'll leave them to the last and never get to them. I mean, you all know how it goes. I don't like making phone calls, so guess what I never get round to? My phone calls are always at the bottom of the list. But what did I do? I just outsourced them. I now pay somebody to make my phone calls. And it's better for my clients because now they're encountering somebody on the phone whose natural gift it is, and so they probably feel much more comfortable speaking to people on the phone that represent my business. My favorite thing to do, which comes naturally, is systems. I love just bringing order to chaos. I love spreadsheets, graphs, charts, formulas, all of the geeky stuff. I just love that. And I can hide behind my computer for weeks doing systems and not see a person. It's my introverted nature. But, but I know that about myself. And I also know that I can't hide. I have to get out. And I have to, do the people-focused stuff. But I always assumed that everybody was born with the ability to do Excel. I assumed that came naturally to everyone. I assumed that everybody could take data and tidy it into, graphs and charts and whatnot. And I never really understood that was one of my strengths, one of my gifts. And so now I do know that, and I value that I have that ability, and I use it. I have recently franchised my business, and so I write franchise manuals and operational manuals, and you name it. It all plays to my strengths, and I absolutely love it. The third thing that is a truth for all of us is that you and your business are valuable. Many times I encounter, and I work with business women mostly, so that's why I'm going to say business women, but many times I encounter women that are constantly working for free or for reduced rates or for discounts. The one day I had a meeting with a woman, and I was considering using her services, and because she had a strength but I had a weakness, and so I was going to outsource that aspect of my business. And she presented her business to me. I liked what I saw, and I was about to accept. And before I had a chance to say, great, let's do it, she started offering me discount. And I would have paid full price. Didn't need to do that. Of course I was going to take the discount, but the point is, maybe she didn't have the confidence, or maybe she didn't value her business, and that she didn't value herself, and she felt she needed to do that to sweeten the deal. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving discount from time to time. There's nothing wrong with being kind in business. But if you are constantly giving discounts, constantly trying to sweeten the deal, then perhaps you don't have confidence in who you are, and you don't value who you are. You don't value your business. We need to get to the place in business where we can say, this is what I'm worth. If you like it, use my services. If you don't, go elsewhere. It should be that simple. But for many people, and I know especially for women, we always feel we have to undercharge or do freebies. And so I think that will probably be my best business tip to do, is really to value what your service is, value what you're doing. If you're charging less than you're worth, you think you might get more business, but actually people will see you as cheap. And they think, oh, they're not going to give me the quality I want. Of course, you don't want to go over the top expensive for the sake of it. Know your value, and then charge what you feel you're worth. I'm not willing to work for less than what I charge. So if people don't value what I do, then they need to go elsewhere. Because I don't want to put in the time and the effort for the money that I feel I'm worth more. One thing I wrote here was, don't become a business prostitute. And let me read a quote to you. Sinead O'Connor said to Millie Cyrus, don't obscure your talent by allowing yourself to be pimped. Whether it's the music business or yourself doing the pimping, nothing but harm will come in the long run from allowing yourself to be exploited. And it is absolutely not in any way an empowerment of yourself. And there's truth in that. I mean, I know it's the music business, but it's the same for all of us. The fourth thing that I wrote down is that we have weaknesses. So yes, we have natural gifts and talents. Yes, we have strengths, and yes, we play to our strengths. But knowing our weaknesses is just as important. Knowing your weaknesses, if you're aware of your weaknesses, you can either do what I did and outsource some of the things. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. You can't be good at everything. Some weaknesses you could work on. It's very important to understand that about yourself as well in business. Now, as I said, some weaknesses you can outsource, but some weaknesses you can't. And weaknesses like character flaws, if you lack integrity, things like that, those could be weaknesses, but we have to take responsibility for them. We have to work on them. We have to grow in integrity. We have to grow in character. And, I've gone the wrong way in my notes. Oh, there we go. So one of the things that I wrote that I really wanted to say, which is why I'm going to read it, is your business will only reach a level that your character can sustain, unless you employ someone else who has better character to take it forward. One of my favorite business coaches, he's in Texas, and he says an organization cannot rise above the constraints of its leader. Now, I went to an entire conference and he said loads of wonderful things, but that's never left me. So yes, we have weaknesses, and it's very important to understand that we need to do something with our weaknesses. Some weaknesses we can outsource. I don't like phones. I don't know if I ever will. I could work on it, but I've got many other things to spend my time on, so I'll outsource that. I'm outsourcing some of my admin because I know I've got to get on with other things. But I cannot outsource my character flaws. So it's essential to work on these things. It could be anything for all of us. It could be all sorts of things. It could be our people skills. I'm currently working on my people skills. I'm reading books to improve my people skills because I'm an introvert, I will shy away. In a room like this, I'll be the one in the corner. You probably noticed that. And I'm okay with being an introvert. I like being an introvert. But at the same time, if I want to be good in business, I do have to work on my people skills. So I'm working on that because I can't outsource them. But, like I said, I can outsource my phone calls. So do you see what I'm saying? Understanding yourself. It's the key to a great business. We can all get by doing okay without understanding ourselves, but if we really want to build fantastic businesses, great businesses, then we have to be great. We have to understand what's inside of us, and we have to unleash our potential, and we have to work on things. So I thought, because it's a book launch, I might read a little bit of the book, otherwise I'll go off on a tangent and start writing my next book through this talk. So I'm going to read to you a little bit. How much time do I have to read?
A few minutes.
Okay, I'll read for a few minutes. Okay, this is from the business section of the book. It's called Authenticity Builds Business. Famous quote from Dr. Seuss. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. There's nothing else to say really, but I'll keep reading. Being authentic in business puts you above your competitors, because often the alternative for your clients is to do business with somebody who appears to have something to hide. Although your competitors may not intentionally be hiding anything, a certain amount of trust is broken when you're not authentic. Even if the person you are dealing with can't tell what you are hiding, they'll definitely sense that you are hiding something and will not realize that all you are hiding is your true self. Get ahead in business simply by being unashamedly you. Show your true colors and see how you win favor of those that you do business with. Authenticity in business adds something real to your brand. As a business owner, a portion of your brand is based on you, the person behind the brand. Brands with some personality and identity are much more attractive and enticing than brands that have no life and no identity. Great brands reflect the leader of the business and should reflect the leader in some way. People prefer to buy from real people than from an establishment. Values, morals, personality, and so much more can be communicated through a brand. And if you are authentic, when there's a strong enough chance that your authenticity will shine through your brand too. Think about Virgin, as I mentioned before. Does Richard Branson immediately come to mind? Do successful and playful and out of the box and various other words come to mind when you think about Virgin? This is because, as far as I can tell, Richard Branson is authentic, and his authenticity and character is reflected in his business and business branding. It also gives substance to your business. Are you just someone trying to make money? Or is there something authentic to you in your business? Being you will add substance to what you do. Being you will draw attention to what you do. People will naturally gravitate towards substance and away from emptiness. A person who is not authentic lacks substance and will reflect poorly on their business. Building a purpose for your business that is beyond simply making money. Get back to grassroots and revisit your core values. I'm going to skip ahead. The next thing it says, it enables people to feel safe. People feel safe when you're being authentic. And then after this, I go on to talk about small business burnout, burnout symptoms, business burnout cures. And so that's kind of a little taster of what being you is about. But I'll go through the chapters quickly and then I'll wrap it up. So the first section is being you in work and in business. Being you through failure. One of my favorite talks is failure I got asked to do a talk at a business event recently, and they said, "What are you an expert on?" And I said, "Failure." So one thing I can confidently speak on, because I've failed in so many ways, so many times, but it's my failure that's got me to where I am today. And so I write a whole chapter on failure. And being you through success, just as important, success shouldn't change you. So you need to maintain true to yourself through success. Being a balanced you, being an emotional you, being you at home, being you in your clothes, and being a spiritual you. And then there's a workbook section at the end called Introducing the New You, where all the chapters are kind of summarized, and you can actually work through each of the chapters in a very practical way. So that's being you. This is you. What you see is what you get. And thank you to Jonathan for this great opportunity.